So I started my career at Mattel in Southern California in the toy industry, and I kind of rose up the ranks from product manager to becoming CEO. The company grew from about 150 million to 1.5 billion US dollars while I was there, and then I left and with a friend of mine who's Chinese in Hong Kong bought Matchbox toys out of receivership in the UK. And we turned it around and took it public and sold it. And then I became CEO of Sega of America and got involved in the video game business. And when I joined the company, we were doing about $70 million here in the United States. And we grew it to do about 1.5 billion in the US and another 900 million in Europe. So it was really a fun time for me, but what I learned there was the power of video game technology to interest teenagers and young adults in content. And I thought, why can't we do that in education? Why can't we use that kind of technology to make courses more interesting to children and teens? And so I joined a company called Knowledge Universe, which was funded by Larry Ellison of Oracle and Mike Milken, a famous financier here. And over the next 9 years, we built 36 different education companies. One of them was Leapfrog, and we built it to be the largest education toy company in the United States. But we did many other things. We did an online MBA program. We did a teacher training program. Lots and lots of different education companies. During that time, I also was on the board of Blackboard Education and Candy and Learning Group, which is another education company. And today I'm chairman of something called Global Education Learning, and we actually have a presence in China. And I'm also a partner at Alsop Louis Venture Capital. Alsop Louis is a relatively small venture capital firm. Our first fund was probably $80 million. Our next fund was about $100 million, and our third fund is about $140 million that we have under management. And we were the investors in what became Twitch TV. That was recently sold to Amazon for about $1 billion. We are also the only venture capital firm in Silicon Valley that has an investment in Niantic, which is the Pokemon Go company. The focus has been media and security. So we have a number of experts in the company on security. We have a former assistant director of the NSA. We have Gilman Louie, who was founder of In-Q-Tel, which is the CIA's arm into Silicon Valley. So we know a fair amount about security issues, both for a person or a company or the government. One of the differences that is very clear is years ago, you could, as a venture capitalist, you would invest in a person who had a good idea and a good business plan. Today, the venture capital world is looking at companies that have already developed their plan and have some revenue underway. And the angel world has really replaced the venture capital world for early financing. So the angel world is individuals and sometimes small firms that will provide financing for startups from ground zero. The VC world today wants you to be a little further along and have some customers and have a track record and have some revenue. So that's one of the huge differences for me. Now, on the other hand, the amount of venture capital money today is much, much larger than it was 5 or 10 years ago. One thing that we're very confident of is that esports is going to be a big area for both the consumer and for investors. So we're looking at esports companies. In terms of game companies themselves, we're very excited about other uses for augmented reality, AR. Of course, AI is quite a ways along in terms of artificial intelligence being able to adapt a game to your level of play or my level of play. And so we're doing quite a bit in that area already. But then virtual reality is the next big thing coming along after AR. Right now, virtual reality is interesting, and I enjoy it. It's good, but I think it needs to take the next leap the technology has to be a little bit better, and the price has to be a little bit lower. Well, particularly in education, it's been very hard for U.S. education companies to move into China because they just don't know how to go about it. And so one of the things my partner Anthony Chang and I are trying to do is to help get U.S. companies into China where it makes sense. And sometimes it doesn't make sense, but for example, my company Cambium Learning Group makes curriculum for children with learning issues. Well, kids have learning issues in the United States, they have learning issues in China, all around the world, so why not use that kind of curriculum to help them learn, whether it's science or math or English? And so actually, Cambium Learning Group, one of its products is called Learning A to Z, and we recently helped them get a partnership with TAL in China, TAL in China. And so things like that are important to do, but I think the market for educational products in China is huge. A few years ago, my partner and I did a study of all the education companies in China that were just focused on young children's education, and we came up with 200 companies that were focused on education for children 2 years old to 6 years old. In one of those companies we ended up buying. It was called Yaolan, and it's an online site that moms use to answer their questions about how to educate their child, whether it's educating in swimming or math or English or whatever. And our commitment was if we didn't have an answer to that mother's question, we would get her an answer in 24 hours from a professor that was in the area of China that she was from. And we built that online business from a few million moms using it every month to 20 million moms using it every month. Anyway, so I see a lot of opportunity, a lot of similarity between the U.S. education market and the Chinese education market. The big difference is that in the United States, parents only spend 2 to 3% of their disposable income on education. In China, parents and grandparents spend like 11% of their disposable income on education. So it's a much bigger interest in education in China. There's a lot of advice. One of the things that I always tell entrepreneurs is don't believe the experts because the experts are probably wrong. Okay. So if you have a strong feeling about your product or your company, follow your instincts. Certainly get advice, but get lots of advice so you can get conflicting opinions on how to go about starting your business. And the other thing is, of course, forming the right team. Forming the right team is of utmost importance. You know, making the right hiring decisions is so critical. And then third, you have to get financing. You know, you can't start with financing for only a few months. You have to have financing that's going to allow you to develop your business and your company over a longer period of time. And finally, hopefully, your company isn't the same as every other company out there. And I always say to people, if you have a strategy that I can copy very quickly, you don't have a strategy. So that's some of the advice I would give.